Welcome back to the R+L Carriers America's Fair, presented by Jim Beam. We are in the middle of the Unlimited Superstock category, here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League, Ken Stout, Leslie Mears, and Ted Brunson. Joe Ader driving the big toy here. Joe Ader, a big name in the industry, a former Unlimited Modified Tractor champion, the multi-engine tractors, now on top of an Unlimited Superstock. Oh, and he'll take over first place at 309.25. By the way, the full pull mark has been set at 310. Nobody's been past that mark, but nobody's gone as far as this guy either.
Joe Ader, a big-time advantage here. He is a chassis builder and does a lot of work in the world of truck and tractor pulling. And if you know how to put them together, you usually know how to take them down to the end of the track and put up a big distance just like that. Kept the front end down a little bit. Got a little sideways there towards the end, but man, knocking on the door of that full pull mark. Who
knows? Maybe Sargento Cheese will keep an eye on him and come back to play ball. You never know, right? Tim Howe and Ryan Toy up next. And just beautiful tractors. I love these things.
The third tractor out of the Larry Roberts stables from Wilmington, Ohio. And that team advantage really going to help them out.
Boy, and all three of these guys very tough here tonight. 307 feet. It won't be good enough for the lead, but it will be good enough for second place.
You can just see that tremendous wheel speed off the line as he launches the front end up in the air. Now the goal to keep that front end 12 to 14 inches off the ground. He gets a little bit high. That's going to detract from his distance at the end. But man, these guys running on kill and pushing out those big numbers.
You got yourself a good hook there. I don't know if this thing could have ran much better tonight than you just did.
Yeah, I think it could have.
Well, you always think it could have, right?
If I'd have got a little more weight on the front, I think I carried my front end a little high. If I'd have got a couple weights out in front and kept the nose down a little bit, it ran a little bit better, but I'm happy with it.
Well, you can see those big rear tires squatting on that last pull as well. Dennis Johnson and the Shag Nasty is up next.
Dennis using a new configuration for 2008, something different than anybody else on the circuit. Got 3 turbos out front in one stage, moving into one big turbo before it comes into the engine. 2 stages, 4 big turbos.
Well, it looks like he has a few of the bugs to work out here yet. 283 feet will be the mark for him.
Never afraid to try any new technology, and that's what it's going to take if you're going to run with the big dogs in this Unlimited Superstock class. A little bit nose heavy there. You can see the front end riding on the ground. Everybody's getting that tire shake on the back, and let's watch the front end here as it stays down.
Out of Jensen, Nebraska, you can see it's not quite as smooth as you might think. These guys stay pretty busy on top of these tractors. Next up, another very clean machine. This one's Sid Broughton driving the Desperado. Sid coming out of the Northeast, actually ran that Northeast division for a long time before he went to the national level. .41 in front of the hometown here for this man, and won't be enough to win, but a pretty respectable pull.
Well, and you'll notice here that Sid takes a gamble by moving over to the left sideline. One of the few competitors in this class that hasn't put it in the center or on the right side. That left sideline not working out for him, but hey, it's the gamble that you've got to take. Any advantage you can take in the variables out here in this sport, it's what's going to push you over the top and push you into that #1 spot.
Here are the final results in the toy box, owned by Larry Roberts. Finishes 1, 2, and 3. Let's talk to the winner.
All right, Joe, 309.25 was enough. You take home the victory. It's got to feel great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was pretty cool to come in and 1, 2, and 3 for the team, and I got to thank Larry Roberts and Lucas Oil. You know, they put a good program together, and we'll come back and see if we can do it again tomorrow night.
The Hot Rod Semis are next. Drop the trailer off and hook her up to the sled.
Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Boys, they have to use DOT tires, but that's about it. They also have restriction on the turbos they can use. They can use up to 4. Other than that, pump up the horsepower and let these babies scream. You're going to get a nice thin billowing of the smoke of the diesel fuel. Then it goes to a nice big white plume, and you are ready to go, baby.
Yeah, 4 turbochargers ought to be plenty. You can see it right there, 2,500 horsepower with those 4 turbochargers, unlimited cubic inches, so whatever they want to do there. But the key, as you know, Leslie, is applying all that power to the DOT tires.
Well, and you've got to adjust your airbags in the back to make sure that you can transition that horsepower directly to those rear tires as you're pulling that heavy, heavy sled down the track. And there's that little bit of fire and that big black smoke that Ted was talking about.
And J.R. Collins at 3:15.37 with the Buckeye Bulldog comes out here and takes a bite out of the competition.
That little bit of fire show just for fun at the beginning, but then you see it really pouring on. Check out the smoke. It's awesome. Straight, narrow streams, meaning you're pushing a lot of air through the engine. That left front tire up off the ground, showing that he's pouring the horsepower to the rear. A good hook for the first puller.
Mark Riggle in the something from nothing. Of course, the cab over here, and this one looking drastically different, but these things do a great job. Doesn't seem to matter if it's conventional style or a cab over.
And he's going with the old school look here with the 84 and, running that 600 series Cummins out there, really laboring out there at the end.
272.07 is not going to have enough to compete here tonight with the Kenworth.
But we've got a great mix here of single turbocharger trucks, which you've got here with Mark Riggle, and then there will be some in the show that have multiple turbos just to push a little bit more air into the engine to try to get the most that they possibly can. A little bit heavy there on the front end, not getting the frame flex and the transfer that he's looking for.
We'll come back with another Bulldog, this one called the Bad Dog, driven by Greg Dean. 272.56 as well here for the Bad Dog. So the sled pulling these guys down a little bit early. There's